Almost no one in the army understands the magnitude of the event, the urgency, and the lack of response from the residents and forces on the ground. While the senior command delays deploying forces south to the kibbutzim Hamas has taken over.
This lineup surprises Israel. They pass by, approach the doors and windows, and shoot anyone reacting to their presence.
Megad Meir Karmi doesn't wait for orders from above. He simply decides on his own to send all his reservists from home to the heart of the battle, contrary to the army's orders and accepted protocols.
I require all individuals to act as important people right now. We have guns, we have full magazines. This extraordinary decision, we're going against the grain and heading south.
She's the one who changed the face of the battle in Kfar Gaza, and thanks to her, many families in the kibbutz survived the massacre.
I understand that there is a big event.
Meir Karmi is the marketing and pricing deputy CEO of the undercutting company, married and a father of 4 daughters. He observes the initial images of the assault on the southern area, just moments prior to his plan to bring the girls to the synagogue.
Our unit, the only reserve unit, surrounded by its own legend of bravery, commanded by Karmi, without approval from IDF Ops Branch, not the commander, arrived reasonably on time to this village.
He says that at most we'll just go around and then go back home, but I don't want to waste time. Against the regulars, even the rebels are a bit against it. Wait, we haven't received an order yet. I tell them, open everything.
To grasp Karmi's exceptional decision, you must understand the circumstances in the rest of the army during that time. Other reserve soldiers are waiting for orders and equipment. The Gaza command center has effectively collapsed, and there is no one giving orderly commands or directing forces to the combat centers. And what is happening in most of the battles is a big mess.
In the 11350 area, soldiers arrive in Beilu. We start to gather, people sign equipment, long lines at the entrance to the thirds. Girls start to assign people. It takes a lot of time. People get delayed at this entrance, until at a certain stage, the supervisor gathers all and says, now all need a weapon, a helmet, and a vest.
In a time when we are in a warlike reality, we cannot be all holy at this moment with a sequence, with diplomacy, with any of that. I require weapons, I require armored vehicles, I require soldiers as necessary, not sugarcoating it, and prepared for anything and everything.
People like them have never been seen in my neighborhood, not even in the toughest accent.
We comprehend that while we are preparing at the moment, individuals are being murdered down there. That's how it is, the realization that we're in it, and time is critical.
Sorry to say, but some of the bets were also stolen. We hide the converts in 2 rows and head south.
The commands for Karmi, if you can call them that, are being passed from one ear to the other at this stage. On the phone, between officers trying to understand the situation. They come here in helicopters and meet Lieutenant Colonel Dan Goldfuss, the commander of Unit 98, who was the one in charge of customer service in the field and directed those who arrived at the combat centers.
Gospos is catching us for some speech, and we're like goddamn buddies, that's what he called us. There's gonna be a whole lot of fire, come on in, be ready.
I remember 2 sentences he said, very short sentences. One, they have an RPG, and you're like, wait a minute, RPG, damn. But they have RPGs, they're good, but you guys are even better, and if you work slowly, no one will get hurt. And what I'm saying, a brief sentence, is that you captured the historic moment of Jewish history.
Note that up until now, no foot power has entered this village. Most internal movement was by cars, protected inside and outside. We are currently walking in. Right after covering a distance of 100 meters, we encounter the first terrorist, who has already been spotted by our force and is actively neutralizing our team. Like totally in the front eucalyptus.
Basically, they give terrorist a taste of his own medicine. On left, another terrorist runs toward us. And actually, we're just continuing, like we're done with the hesitation. I gotta remind you that 5 hours ago we were citizens at home.
After those 2 agonizing incidents and eliminating the terrorists, they're already in Gaza, taking control of the occupied areas and fighting for hours on end.
We begin to obtain a genuine understanding of the actual events taking place in this area. They did not put an end to the reception of requests, not to mention the pleas from residents and families who are situated outside the settlement area. Come on, assist me. I have relatives here and they are unresponsive and evasive already.
Oh my goodness, they shall be called. Remember what the Malek did to you.
How can you even know that you are not causing harm to our forces, civilians, and other soldiers?
In the end, the reserve's wisdom prevailed. You're encountering sticky situations, needing zero time to determine if it's a terrorist or not. We had this one event where a guy ran with his dog on his shoulders towards the forces in an area where he shouldn't have been anymore. And in one moment, a fighter stops and says, "Wait a minute, hold on, this doesn't seem like a terrorist."
The gang takes over the territory that Hamas captured in part of the kibbutz. His mission now is to extract the families that are trapped in the dimensions in the neighborhood of the outskirts.
I was very embarrassed, similar to a soldier in the IDF, that it took us a total of 14 hours to reach them, even though we were completely full and clean. I remember their gaze looking at us. It wasn't even an accusing gaze. It was a gaze between being disappointed and almost completely giving up. I felt like they wanted to see us the way we wanted to see them.
I remember the meeting here. Do you guys remember the meeting we had here at this intersection? We looked at each other, everyone was kicked.
And when we opened the gates, all I had to say to them was, "I'm sorry, but take some water, take some food, and I need you to go back to the dimension once again because the area is still uncharted and I can't get them out of the houses yet." And this initial response, "Here comes the IDF, come take us out of here," and you tell them, "Go back inside," it was very hard for me and much harder for them, I'm sure. And from now on, I decided that we must get them out as quickly as possible.
To pull them out in the moment of truth, contrary to other opinions, that's something that will save lives. 40 hours after the event started, more terrorists are arriving. To extract them as much as possible, since it's crucial.
The citizens are fed up and the fighting continues in both nations. The battalion manages to repel several additional attacks by Hamas, and the fighters kill terrorists who tried to infiltrate the kibbutz again and blow up the fence. The intense fighting in Kfar Gaza for the Karmi Brigade is just the start. They then move north and proceed to the battle in the heart of Hanyans, culminating in the liberation in January.
Meir Karmi grasped the event's magnitude and assumed responsibility without being asked, resulting in the salvation of souls.
Evacuated residents from Gaza Strip not forgotten, standing strong in evening gathering.
Of course, thanks to each and every one of you, the squad is called to the flag. The sacrifices and bravery you have shown since the Sabbath will never be forgotten. You are like guardian angels to us. Thanks is a small word for what we're experiencing for you. You saved worlds and the lives of many.
And thanks to him and thanks to them, we're here as if we have to live our lives. They saved our lives, you know.